A quick setup for today. Make sure you have your mermaid strap pulled away from the spring box. You're also going to have your black cables down. I'm going to leave Jessica's up for now because I can pull them down for her later, but since you probably don't have a helper or assistant, go ahead and pull your black cables down now. Just make sure they're not wrapped around the back handlebars, otherwise they'll be heavier or they'll be uneven if only one is wrapped. Other thing is red pole here at the front for our light lunge. And then quickly a couple modifications. Anything at the back can be done at the front. We're gonna open up our core. We're gonna start with a little warm up, but we're gonna open up the core block at the back. So when we're there, I'll try to remind you, you could take it to the front if it's too much. Same with the core, you could definitely be on your knees at any point. At the front of the machine, I'll try to remind on the spring load, 2 yellows is gonna be more support for the light stuff. And then always, always your best friend is changing your range of motion. If you need to make it a little easier, a little more supported, a little less intense. We're gonna go ahead and get started with a little bit of a warm up today. So find your bungee. I'm gonna find Jessica. She's gonna be right where she is, but she's gonna lay down on her back with her feet towards the springs, so the other way. You're gonna bring your head at the very front edge of your carriage. And then your feet, just like Jessica's, are gonna be kind of hips distance width apart. You wanna be able to have your heels on the carriage. So some of you might have to scoot more forward if you're a little bit longer. Your toes can totally be hanging off. In fact, scoot your feet just a sliver more forward. There you go, good. Now I'm gonna hand Jessica the bungee. And again, she's got me to help her out. I'm gonna make sure the bungee is right in the middle of the rack it's attached to, so that way you feel nice and even. Find a nice grip on the bungee. Some days I like index and pointer finger in there. Some days I like my thumbs hooked through. And then just lift up on the bungee a little bit so you feel the tension. Keep a softness in your elbows so your elbows aren't locked, your shoulders stay depressed. Push into your feet, take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, you're gonna start to peel your shoulder blades up, engaging the abdominals, pulling slightly forward on the bungee. Make sure you don't hurt your head with the bungee. And then very slowly, maybe even slower, so working the abs, you're gonna lower yourself back down. When you lower your head and your shoulder blades down, maybe pull the bungee back a little bit just so it doesn't hit you in the head. When you're holding here, hug your ribs in, hug your navel down, and then on your next exhale, lift up again. So nice and slow. You're trying to come all the way up off your shoulder blades. Pause for a brief second, and then very slowly lower yourself back down. We'll be here for a few more. So head comes all the way down, upper abs burning. Each time you hold at the bottom, it's a great place to reset. Perfect, Jess. Exhale, lift it all the way up. Nice. Keep the chin off the chest a little bit, and you can change what you feel from the bungee by bending your elbows more, not pulling so far forward with the bungee, or you can make it heavier by choking up, grabbing a little bit lower on the bungee. Good. One more like that. Bring it all the way down. Inner thighs are nice and strong. As you exhale, lift it right back up. Hold it up. Now, holding here, keep the shoulder blades lifted. Do it really slow so you're not moving or straining your neck. Give me a little tiny soft squeeze forward on the bungee. Little squeeze forward for 5. Head doesn't move, so just the bungee is pulling. Yes, 3, 2, 1. Lower yourself all the way back down. Head is gonna stay down now. Take your legs up towards the ceiling. Now, if your hamstrings are real tight and it's real cold like it is in here, you can keep a soft bend in your knees. Now, before we do anything, pull the bungee slightly forward, keep your head down, but feel that tension on the upper abs. Hug the front ribs in, and then now very slowly, I don't care how low you go, start to lower your legs down. Doesn't matter how low you go. When you get to that point, hold it there. Hug the ribs in, flatten your lower back. And then very slow, as you exhale, you're gonna lift your legs back up. Exactly, perfect. And then do it again. You're gonna choose how low you go each time. I promise, less is more. If you feel pressure in your back, you're going too low. If your back is lifting up off the carriage, if your spine is moving, you're going too low. If you are building core strength, you're probably going too low. Make the range of motion a little bit smaller. Just a few more seconds here. This is just our little warm up. We're not going to be here super long, but I wanted to fire it up before we get into kind of a more challenging exercise to start off. Nice and slow. Good, perfect form, Jess. On the next one, lower your legs down any amount, and we're just going to hold it here. Not the longest hold you've ever done, so dig in a little bit. Push yourself, engage your armpits, and then softly give me a little squeeze up and down. Right there in the fire, you gotta be able to breathe through this for 5. Good, 3. We're gonna bend the knees to tabletop in 2, and 1. Bend the knees, tabletop, hold it. Lower the feet just a little bit. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, pull the bungee forward, lift your shoulder blades up, hold it here. Now, one leg at a time, she's gonna dip her right toes down like she's touching the water, exactly. And then exhale, lift your right knee back up to tabletop. Left knee dips down. You'll notice she's keeping the same bend in her knee. So keep the knee bent, it's just the toes that dip down. Yeah, so the knees are bent all the way through. We're challenging our lower core. Keep the back of your pelvis heavy. Beautiful, Jess. Keep going. 10. Awesome. Keep lifting the shoulder blades higher. Remember, you could always drop the bungee if you needed to. You could always set your head back down if you needed to. Good. Bring this left leg back in. Extend both legs out about 45 degrees. Hold it here. 8, 7, 6. Big transition. Super crunch. In 4, all the way to the back. You'll face the front. In 2 and 1. Good. Ditch your bungee. Make sure you have one yellow. Take a seat on the back platform. Pull the carriage in. Tuck your toes underneath the strap. I got a spicy one here for you today. I'm just saying. But everything will come quick and dirty. So we're not going to be in anything too long. I'm going to keep you in these positions the minimum amount of time. So for super crunch, you're going to start to lean your torso back, your legs extend. Going really, really, really slow right now. Think of squeezing your inner thighs. Hugging your shoulder blades down as you continue the movement. Keep the chin elevated away from the chest. Every time I lean back like Jessica, I like to imagine, as with my breath, that I'm wrapping that corset muscle around my spine before I lift up. You'll see Jessica's hands are lifted up above her hips, almost at her heart level. The higher you lift your arms and the more you extend away from your body, the harder you're going to be working. Next one, start to lean it back and hold it there. Also, the higher your heart rate's going to get. So hold it back as far as you can. Breathe here. Now, very small, and again, wrap that corset around. Don't move your legs with just your spine. 1/2 inch up. Maybe lift the arms a little higher. And then 1/2 inch back. It's real small. It's real slow. It's just 4, 3, 2. Hold it back. Now, slow, slow. Just your legs all the way out, all the way in. Lift your heart up through your shoulders. Lift your chin up off your chest. You have 8 seconds here. We're going to grab the carriage. Your hands on the 8 and the 10. You're going to tuck your toes. High plank. If you need to, come to the front. 3, 2, 1. Grab your carriage. Hands near the 8 and the 10. Toes tucked onto that back platform. Now this is called giant plank, and I will say this is the hardest variation of a plank in this class. So if you need to modify, take it right up to the front. Try to stay on your toes for this opening bit. As always, you could come to your knees if you need to. About 5 more seconds just holding. Squeeze your butt cheeks a lot. Engage your chest, your armpits a lot. As slowly as you can. Bend your knees so that your knees line up under your hips and hold it here. So it's like a bear, hold. Squeeze your core so tight. Squeeze your shoulder blades back towards your hips. Just 5 seconds. I know it's burning into those abs. You're making those fine-tuning adjustments. Push into your hands. Puff up in your upper back. Slowly slide it all the way out to your plank. Beautiful, Jess. And now these last seconds, plank to pike. Start to lift your hips up to the sky. Focus on tempo and form over range of motion. So I don't care how high you get. Make sure your heels stay lifted, your spine stays neutral. You have about 8 seconds here. I'm going to bring you down to your elbows, down to your knees. You're going to be in a modified plank, like wheelbarrow, but on your elbows. In 2 and 1. Good fight, Jess. So elbows down, knees down. And then as quickly as you can, slide your hips forward so you're in a straight line, shoulders, hips to knees. Just hold it here for a second. So let your spine unwind, push down into your elbows. If your hands are together or apart, try to push into your forearms also, which will change the sensations a little bit. Now, as slowly as you can, keep your gaze forward. Begin to slowly, slowly saw your elbows forward. Doesn't need to be big. Pull with your lats to bring it right back in. So your abdominals are the focus. Your lats, your shoulders are doing the work here. As we create instability for the spine, feel how when you slide your elbows forward, it burns your abdominal wall that much more. That's exactly what we're going for. You want to try to keep the same shape in your spine. You guys, you only have about 10 seconds here, so really fire it up. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your inner thighs. 4 seconds. Good. Slide your elbows out so they're right underneath your shoulder. As slowly as you can, begin to round, real slow, tuck, 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 tuck that tailbone top. Stop about right there. Hips slightly forward of your knees. Now don't change much, but round your spine up toward the sky even more. Yes. And then really slow. I'm telling you, tempo is everything. Slide it back out. Real slow. Shoulders stay over the elbows. Yes. Perfect tempo. I want you to come all the way out towards that modified plank. Hold. And then let that lift come from that mid-spine. Lift, round. Yes. Tuck, 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 tuck. Hold it about right there. Spend a second rounding up even more. Yes. And then super slow. Slide it back out. No holds, no challenges. You have about 10 more seconds here. We're rolling right on through it. Like I said, you got to be present. These things are coming fast today. In 5, we're going to take it up to the front. Hands up to the highest set of bars. It's catfish. 3, 2, 1. Good fight, Jessica. So all the way to the front, hands up on your high bars. You're going to bring your tiptoes onto the number 3 or slightly further back would make it easier. 2 yellows, harder. 2 yellows would make it easier. And moving your feet to the number 1 would also be like adding on more yellow. Start with this tabletop position. Hips are the same height as your shoulders. Push your toes back so that your knees line up right underneath your hips. And that's where you'll start. From there, you're going to start to push back through your toes, extending at the hip and the knees just a little bit, but not so much that your hips drop. Hold it there. Imagine we were in that bear hold at the back, and bend your knees intensely. Navel lifts up. See if you can slide your shoulders backwards a little bit. Soften through your elbows. No holds, no challenges. You've got about 20 seconds here. So arms are working really hard. They're also getting tired, right? We've been holding ourselves up with our arms here for a good beat. 10 more seconds. Your inner thighs are squeezing. Your butt is squeezing. Navel is lifting. Rib cage is lifting. Imagine I put an overly inflated beach ball right underneath your rib cage. 4 seconds. Start to slide your legs all the way back. In 3, she's got my beach ball. 2, legs go all the way straight first, but your hips are still lifted. So squeeze your butt a second. And then push your toes back further as you lower your hips down to that flying plank position. Lean a little forward in your hands as slowly as you can. Bend your elbows for the slowest push-ups you've ever done. You better believe that a push-up is much harder than a plank. So if you were building core strength and a plank is hard for you, make the range of motion much smaller, you guys. Some days I make my push-ups 1 inch, and that's difficult for me. Super slow. It is. Super strong. Slowly as you rise, slowly as you lower. Lift the back of the head a little bit. Keep your eye on the prize. Perfect strong legs, Jessica. 10 seconds. We're going to come down to our knees and our hands. Right into wheelbarrow. In 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So hands down. Knees on the number 3. Oh, it fell out. Hips press forward. She was listening to sneaky music in her ear. So hips press forward. You're in that same shape that we were in at the back, except now we're up on our hands. Slowly as you can, start to slide backwards. That's a little bit different than being at the back as well. Your body weight over the carriage now. Keep a softness in your elbows. Your triceps are wrapping back. I love how Jessica's shins are pushing down. That helps keep the lift at the front of the pelvis, especially if your hip flexors are tight like mine. Lower your hips just a sliver. Yes, perfect. Keep your shoulders depressed. How do you get stronger in this position, in every position? Every time you slide it back, don't focus on going further. Focus on more control. You hold it back there a second or two so you can make those little fine-tuned adjustments. Shoulders depressed, ribs lift, booty squeezes, navel to spine, pull with the lat. So activate a lat pull here. Your shoulders, your triceps, those big muscles down the sides of the back are where you're feeling the heat. That's the movement coming. Again, we are creating instability in the spine. That's what makes this a core-focused exercise. Slide it all the way out on your next one. Take your time. I don't care where all the way out is. You shouldn't either. Hold it out. Depress your shoulders. Lengthen your neck. Do the work to unlock your jaw and to squeeze your butt cheeks 14 times harder than you are. I mean it. Like, get your butt to shake right now. 3, 2, pull back to full range. This is your last 8 seconds here. We've got one more center core exercise. We're going to get you right onto those legs. In 5, it's another high plank. So you're going to tuck your toes. If you need to get off your wrists, come to your elbows. In 2 and 1. So hands stay, tuck your toes. If you come to your elbows, it's harder. Yay, bonus. It's fine though. So extending it all the way out. I like to take about 10 seconds and hold my plank. Softening the elbows, squeeze in the butt, squeeze your inner thighs, find your long spine, and then as slowly as you can, plank to pike. So you did this at the back already. Feels a lot different here at the front. Perfect lift, Jessica. Shoulders are lifting towards your hips as you pike up. They're pulling towards your hips as you come down. So see if you can kind of fine tune that a little bit. Feel in your shoulders what is happening as your hips change position. That's the hard part for me. Allow your neck to lengthen so when your hips are up, you're kind of softly looking back towards your toes or maybe even underneath the carriage a little bit. You don't want to pull your chin onto your chest, but you do want your neck to lengthen and relax here. This is 8 seconds. We're going to step up onto the left leg to start. Elevator lunge. In 3, 2, 1. Good job. So left foot up again. If you wanted more support, add on another spring. Right toes back on the first red line or slightly further back will make it harder. Right toes at the front edge, like next to the 1, would make it easier. Left knee is right over the ankle. You're bending down, getting really low into that left hamstring and glute, and then rising up towards the top. For your first 30 seconds or so, we're focusing on depth. You're trying to get really low. A couple things to notice in the spine is right now Jessica's spine pretty upright. She's getting a nice hip flexor stretch on that right thigh, right hip flexor. It's also a great core strengthening effort. If you feel too much pull on your right hip or any pressure in your lower back, you're going to want to lean or hinge forward a little bit, maintaining that wheelbarrow spine. So when you lean forward, you don't want to round. You want to stay long like a plank. Come all the way down on this next one and hold it here. Get as low as you can. So try to bring your left thigh parallel to the floor, and then let's hold it here and do a little work to fine tune it. So push heavier into your left heel, then the ball of the foot, and then the toe. Squeeze your right butt cheek like somebody's trying to steal it from you. And yeah, that's your other butt. Engage your inner thighs. Now see if you can reach your arms forward. And if you need to, you can use your bars, you guys. This part's difficult. So arms are reaching forward. See if you can come a little lower into your left leg. Perfect. Now without moving your legs, your arms are going to sweep back as you lean forward as far as you can over your thigh. Maybe once you're leaning, you can drop your hips a little lower. Good. And then just one time, lift your chest up, sweep your arms back forward to where you started, tuck your tail. Stay on the legs, hold the legs. And now this time we lean forward, we sweep the arms back, and you're going to hold it. So deep bend in the left knee, as far as you can lean forward. This is spine, this is shoulder blades, this is a straight right leg and a deeply bent left knee for 3. Good, same way out of it. Hold your legs, lift your heart forward, arms reach. Now whatever you like with your hands, come back to full range. You have 20 seconds. Rise it up, and then sit it right back down. Trying not to lock your knee at the top. Try not to let your tailbone lift as you rise. So keep the core tight, even as it feels easier as you get to the top. Next one, come down to the bottom. Cute socks, Jessica, by the way. Easily distracted, but cute things. Hold it. See if you can take your arms out to a T. Maybe, maybe not. So reaching out to your side. Bend your right knee and hold it in. Sit back into your left heel a little bit. See if you can bend both knees, get a little bit lower, and we hold it here for 8. This feels so good. You guys are going to step to the side and change your springs. I'm going to change for Jessica, runner's lunge. 3, 2, 1. So 1 red, 1 to 2 yellows. Do you want 1 or 2 today, Jess?
Either.
Cool. I picture poison. So I've got around 1 red and 2 yellows. Deep bend in the left knee, deep bend in the right knee to start. Make sure your left foot is wedged underneath the strap if it wasn't already. So the focus here is an isometric hold on your left leg. And I do like a little bit of a lean forward in this exercise because it helps me stay a little lower. It also helps me reach the black handlebars for some support. That's just me. Focus less on getting your right leg straight and more on keeping a deep bend in your left leg. This is a left booty, quad. You should feel some hamstring as well. As you push your right leg back, your core should stay tight. We're still creating instability in the spine. Spine stays neutral. I want you to try to squeeze your right butt cheek to push your right leg back. Next one, bend your right knee in. Hold it so that it's right underneath your hip. Squeeze your right butt cheek. Once you squeeze your right butt cheek, tuck your tail a little bit. Roll the shoulders back. Can you get lower? We're gonna hold it here. We're just gonna feel what this feels like for 10 seconds. Relax your jaw, relax your face, push heavier into your left heel, maybe a little bit lower because why not? 3, 2, slowly, nothing changes, just push it back to full range. Right leg drives, left leg lunges forward. Keep pushing heavier into your left heel. You only have 10 seconds. All the way out, all the way in. Lunge that left knee a little bit more forward. Again, try to get on a little bit lower. It's a constant adjustment, you guys, especially as you get stronger and you're making that full body effort, every muscle engaged. It's difficult to maintain. Bring the right knee in. Again, it's right underneath your hip. Push to get a little bit lower. Push heavier into your left heel, and we're holding here. Fire up your back muscles. Fire up your side core muscles, those obliques. Hang on to it. Get a little lower. Feel how much different this is intensity-wise when we got those heavy springs on. Your body has to recruit a lot more muscles to get you through. 6 seconds, I know. Feels so good when we shake. Push your left heel down heavier, even as you shake. 3 seconds, here we go. 2, push it back to full range. Go really, really slow. You have 20 seconds in this movement. We're gonna stand up and face off to your right. We're gonna come into skater. It'll be difficult because it's a back-to-back isometric hold. 8 more seconds. Can you get lower? Can you go slower? Can you feel your core burning right now? You want to radiate from your center. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Pivot to face your right. Your left foot is still on the platform. Your right foot is on the carriage. Your feet are inside the straps. Make sure your feet are lined up. Bend your knees, sit your booty back into a deep squat position. I like to hold it here a few seconds. Weight heavy to the heels, spine nice and long, shoulder blades tight. Start to push. Now focus on going really slow. As you push your right leg out, your left leg is holding perfectly still, and I'm looking for 6 or 8 seconds on the way out. You're not gonna lock your knee, but you are gonna hold it out there a second or two. Why? To make sure you're feeling it in your outer right butt cheek and your outer right thigh, to make sure you're still pushing heavy into your left heel, and then very slowly you're gonna bring it back in. No holds, no challenges in this position. You only have one more left leg exercise coming after this. So right now you're feeling those thighs burning, your heart rate should be rising. Every time you bring your right knee back into center, try to get a little bit lower, right? Like push it back into your heels. Make yourself a little bit more uncomfortable. Is that too bright? It's a little bit too bright. That's fine. I saw you squint. Good. Good. We're well over that halfway point now. Dig in a little bit. And again, find that pause. Find your controls here. Not just going through the motions. Fire up your core. Pull navel to spine. Don't even change the shape of your spine. But pull, see if you can pull your belly button tighter back there and hold on to it all. You're under your 30-second mark. From here, we're gonna be traveling to the back of the machine. So we'll be pulling against the springs for our last left leg lunge. It's express lunge. So you're gonna need your red cables. You'll be facing the opposite way, away from the front. Your left foot on the platform again. Make sure you change to 1 yellow unless you want to. If you needed to modify this, I would be okay with you going back into elevator lunge. Express lunge is the same pretty much as elevator with a different tension, right? Last 5. So transitioning up to the back as quickly as you can on 1 yellow, 2 only if you mean it. In 2 and 1. So 1 yellow, 2 is at least twice as hard. Your left foot will be on the back platform. You'll have your cables in your hand, so you're facing the back. With your right toes, once you stand up, you're gonna bicep curl it in. You'll step your right toes back, either behind the strap, or you could step it back further to make it more challenging. Begin to bend down into your left knee. Same idea as elevator lunge. Like I said, you can lean a little forward here if you need. Your goal is to not lock your knee at the top. You're trying to layer these reps together. I'm not at all saying that you can't straighten your leg, but we are trying to create endurance in this hamstring muscle and glute muscle specifically. So at least 2 in a row without locking the knee. Maybe you're at the point where you're pushing 3 or 4 or 5. This is one of the hardest for me to maintain, to be quite honest. It might help you to use your cables a little bit, but it's not a bicep exercise technically. They're there to support you. Feel what it feels like to keep your arms straight for a whole rep. I'm not calling out straight arms because most of us can't maintain the tension when we straighten our arms. And feel the balance at the top. It's tricky. Yes. Let's come all the way down to the bottom on your next one. And we'll do the work for a second. We're going to hold it here. So push into your heel. Push heel, ball, toe. So all of the foot is connected. You're as low as you can be. So if you're not at your lowest point, push it. Squeeze your inner thighs. About 3 more seconds. Engage your shoulder blades. Perfect in the spine, Jess. Now, as slowly as you can, without moving your left leg, you're going to bicep curl and bend the right knee in. Now, I want you to stop when your knee is right under your hip. See if you can get a little bit lower. Tuck the abs in. And then really slow, slide your right leg back. Lean a little bit forward. There you go. Perfect. And then again, bend your right knee in. And do the same thing. When you hold it there, you're making sure your abs are working. You're making sure you're as low as you can be. Yeah, and then you slide it back out again. You've got 10 seconds. I know, this is a beastly one. Good. Go ahead and pull your right knee in and hold it there so it's right underneath your hip. Not in front of your hip, right below it, like that runner's lunge hold, except now we're pulling instead of pushing. I've got a method to my madness, Jessica. See if you can come a little bit lower. Perfect, making it look easy. Now, without moving the carriage, this is difficult. Bicep curl 1 inch down, 1 inch up. Your heart rate should be like pumping out of your chest right now. You gotta breathe real deep. 5, all the way down. 3, 2, hold it low. Slide your right leg back, slow, slow, slow. Sink a little bit lower, low, low, low. And you're back to full range. You have 20 seconds of full range. I got a little active rest coming for you. You're gonna be sitting on your butt after this. We're gonna continue with the left side of the body. This is your last 10 seconds, so push it if you can. Mermaid, left side. So your right hip comes down in 4 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Good job. So right hip is down, left foot to the strap on the floor. Just adjust the strap on the floor so your foot, when you start to lean, is lifted up against the strap. Make sure you're on the side of your hip, not sitting up on top of your bottom. Otherwise, it'll crank on your spine a little bit. Leaning down to the side. Think about this for a moment. I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together, but as much as you squeeze your shoulder blades together, you gotta pull those front ribs in. Your back body and front body are evenly squeezing in towards your spine. If you like, you can add a twist here, but I'm not calling it out, but you can certainly add it in. Next one, start to make your way down to your bottom and hold it there. Check your shoulder blades, relax your left thigh, and very slowly, a little soft squeeze up and a soft squeeze down, real slow. Lengthen out your neck a little bit, soft squeeze up, soft squeeze down. Hold it down. Slowly take a big breath of air and come back to full range. Just a few seconds here. It's always tricky to go back to full range. We're gonna do it twice. 5 more seconds. She doesn't even care. She's like stone cold over there. She's not even making faces at me. All the way down on your next one. Hold it. Again, shoulder blades, rib cage. Check the neck. Give me the softest little squeezes up. Try not to strain. Be challenged, but let it all be in that left side waist. For 3, 2, last time, full range. I know, 10 seconds. We're coming to the front. Your hands will be on the front platform, your toes near the number 3. 2 yellows is easier, high plank. 3, 2, 1, good fight. So all the way to the front, hands down on your front platform, toes tucked, extend your legs. I like to hold it for like 10 seconds and strengthen the arms. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your inner thighs. Dig in. Close your rib cage. Put that overly inflated beach ball right underneath the breastbone. Slowly as you can, bend your knees to the right side only for dancing bear. I want you to go really slow, obviously. There are no holds, no challenges. I want you to figure this number out. I want you to squeeze your left oblique like 47 times more than you need to actually do the movement. Squeeze it tighter. And here's the harder kind of trick on your brain. Make sure you're squeezing it as your legs go back to straight. So it's not just the forward motion that we focus on. We work in both directions. We try to work every second of class. This is 10 seconds. Now I have a transition coming up. And it's a maybe, right? If you need to set your knees down, you will. On your next one, slide your legs back to straight, hold it. Squeeze your butt. See if you can come to your elbows without dropping your knees. It's a maybe. Good. Now, roll your hips to the left so that your bones face the right. Exactly. Hold it here. And then do this softly like we did in the mermaid. Imagine you're pulling your left hip bone into your armpit. Tiny little squeezes. There's not a lot of movement happening here. It's just a little action for 5. Yes, 4. We're going to come up for teaser in 3, 2, 1. Good job. Hands up, cross your left foot over your right foot. Your toes are pointed to the right. Now, if this feels tight in your lower back, untwist a little bit. Your feet do not need to be lined up on the white line. They can be angled more towards your right handlebar. Slide your legs out and then lift up from the left side of your waist. Another option you see Jessica has right now, you can lift your heels up, you guys. Yeah, the standard alignment for this is heels down. But we all have very different bodies, different lifestyles, different things we do all day long. So you have to accommodate your body so that you feel this in your left oblique and it's not like a hip exercise. Slide it out on your next one. Hold it. It's going to feel great. First thing, squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your butt, and pinch that left side waist. Move really slow and really soft. A little squeeze up and a little squeeze down. Check your neck, check your shoulders, soft elbows, strong back muscles. Little tiny squeezes. Feels so good. Gotta decide. You gotta decide that you like this. Get comfortable with this extreme discomfort. 3, 2, slide it out, I know. Take it back to full range. You're under 10 seconds now. We're gonna uncross our feet. Your hands are gonna stay where they are. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Uncross your feet, slide your legs back, lower your hips so you're in that flying plank position again. Slowly as you can. It could be 1 inch of movement, push-ups. I don't really care how low you go. Some of you, if you're really, really strong in your push-ups, notice that you're on an incline. This is easier than being in a full plank. So maybe you can push into a deficit. Maybe getting those shoulders really low, a nice stretch through the pecs, just protect your shoulders. Slow it down a little bit, squeeze your butt cheeks intensely. Don't forget, you can always hold at the top 10 seconds before you take another one. You're maintaining a plank all the way through. It's difficult. You have 8 seconds. Right foot is coming up. Elevator lunge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Right foot forward. Left toes back. Remember, where you put your left foot is important. Standard alignment, left foot on the first red line. Harder, left foot just an inch behind the white line will make it harder for you. Any amount you step further back than that is up to you. If you felt like, I kind of wanted a little bit more supported today, feel like you don't have the energy, bring your left foot all the way to the front edge. No big deal. Just like when we were in that express lunge at the back, your goal is to not straighten your leg. So at least 2 in a row every time with a generous bend and burn in your right butt at the top. And you're getting to the point where you can do 3, 4, 5 in a row. Maybe you can do the full however many minutes we're here. 15 more seconds. Your focus right now is getting lower. Right thigh actually, literally, genuinely parallel to the floor. There's a stop there. There's an engagement there, an intensifying there before you rise up. Take your time. Come all the way down to the bottom. And we're holding it first. Yes, it burns, but it's also that form check. It's that fine tuning like we do in our planks. Push right heel, then ball, then toe. Squeeze your other butt cheek, your left one. Squeeze your inner thighs. Tuck your lower abs in and then pull your shoulder blades towards your hips. See if you can reach your arms forward. We're gonna do one dynamic movement. As slowly as you can. Focus on lengthening the spine. Sweep your arms back. Lean your chest all the way forward. Hold. And then rise all the way back up. Keep the knee bent. It's just the spine changing what you feel on your butt. Chest lifts. Now all the way back into the long jump. And this time we hold it. Beautiful. Tuck your lower abs in away from your thigh. Pull down on your shoulder blades towards your hips. Squeeze your hands towards each other behind your back and breathe for 4. We're going to try to reverse out of it. It's going to burn. In 3, hold your legs. Lift your chest. Lift your spine. Use the pole if you need it. Slowly rise up. Go slow, slow, slow. Once you hit the top, you're coming right back down. You've got about 15 seconds to break up this lactic acid. And I say it like that because you were just in a 1-minute isometric hold on your right leg. And now you're moving again. So that was difficult. Start to make your way all the way down to the bottom. Hold it low. And then from here, see if you can reach your arms to a T, creating instability. But imagine you're pushing down on 2 poles. Visualize that, right? And then bend your left knee in, exactly, so that your left knee is right under your hip. Now here's the hard part. She's gonna bend both of her knees and sit down lower. Yes, hold it here. Do everything you can. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Squeeze your core. You have 9, 8. Spring change. So you guys are going to step to one side, quickly change your springs. In 5, it's runner's lunge. In 3, 2, 1. So about 1 red, 1, 2, or 3 yellows. Less yellows is lighter. Make sure your right foot is underneath the strap so you don't feel like you got to hold on for dear life with your toenails. And then start in that 90-90 bend. So both knees are bent a lot. Right heel is driving. I promise this side will be harder. Slowly as you can, start to push your left leg back. As you push your left leg back, imagine, and this is a funny visual, I'm hanging from your tailbone. I kind of weigh a lot. So I'm down below you, anchoring your tailbone to the floor. As you go slowly and push your left leg back, make sure your tailbone isn't tipping. I'm hanging down towards the floor. Push your right heel down real heavy, squeeze your right butt cheek. Bend your left knee in, hold it. Don't stand up. Just don't do it. Push instead to get a little bit lower. We want the shake. My last two clients this morning were like, it's shaking. That is exactly what you're going for. Exactly. You don't want to stand up when it starts to shake. You're like patting yourself on the back. Push your right heel heavily down. Lunge your right knee heavily forward. 3 seconds. I know it. Slowly. Go back to full range. Slow. All the way in. Perfect spine, Jess. All the way out. It's like you're a gerbil in a wheel. You're constantly adjusting, right? You have to rebend your right knee. You have to repush your right heel. You have to bend your right knee more. You have to let me hang from your tailbone again. It's like you push it out one time and probably half a rep, you've got to fix it again. Bring your left knee and hold it. Last time here, I know. Hold it. Eye on the prize. It's going to get shaky. Abs are so tight. Hug those lats in. Bend your knees more. Sit in there. Sit in the fire. Feel your thighs burn like you don't want to. Feel that sensation that you feel like you can't maintain, and then you show yourself that you freaking can. 10 seconds. That's it. You've totally got it. Get to a place where it makes you shake more, right? Push that right heel down 5 more seconds. I know. Chin off the chest, neck so long, you're breathing still real deep. 3, 2, kick it back to full range. You've got about 20 seconds here, breaking it up. We're gonna, remember, pivot to your left this time. So your feet will be on the carriage and the platform still, but you're gonna be facing to the side for a lateral movement. This is 7 seconds. 5, skater, ooh, it shakes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. So pivot. Your right foot is on the platform still. Your left foot is on the carriage. You want to use the straps so you don't feel like an ankle strain to hold your feet where they are. Turn your toes out a sliver, most likely. Sit down into your deep low squat. Once you're in your squat, hold it for a second, and then start to push your left leg out. Really, really slow. Definitely, again, harder to do this exercise after your runner's lunge, because that is also an isometric hold. You just held your right leg bent for several minutes, and now your right leg is bent again for several minutes. I have no holds, no challenges. The challenge here, you guessed it, is to keep your right knee bent and not straighten it. I'm not saying that you can't straighten your leg and shake it out and come back to a deeper squat. I'm just saying goals, right? You need to know what you want, where you want to be. Every time I bring my left leg in, I try to sit lower. I try to shift my weight back into my heels, because yeah, guilty as charged. I have to make these adjustments too. When I push my left leg out, I tend to shift into my toes a little bit. It's difficult. I tend to start to rise out of my squat, because why? It's burning like the dickens. Your heart rate should be rising. Like I said, when we're pushing against the springs like this, you got a heavy spring set on, your body has to recruit more muscles. That means your heart has to work harder to get oxygen and blood to these muscles. It makes it more cardiovascular. You're not running on a track. You've got zero impact on your joints right now. This is still cardio work right now. Breathe deeply, open it up. You've got under 30 seconds. Sitting it a little bit lower. I'm just enjoying Jessica's faces over here. Sitting lower, going slower, digging in. I didn't say it at the beginning. If you chose your spring load, even if you're on one red and you're like, oh, I feel this in my back or whatever, there is no shame in the lighter spring game. Yes, it is a heavy tension load, but you have to be where you are. Don't be afraid to call an audible and adjust that spring load anytime you need to. 10 seconds. How quickly, I wonder, can you get into your express lunge? And not just in the position, but how quickly can you get to the bottom of that first lunge? It's 1 yellow, 2 only if you mean it. In 2 and 1. So 1 yellow to the back. Last one, right leg. Remember before on the other side, if you needed to stay at the front and stay in elevator lunge, you totally could. It's the same mechanics, it's the same interaction with the carriage. It's just a little bit lighter because you're not pulling against the spring. Nice, Jessica. She got in there. See that? It was only 16 seconds.
It's a long time.
I'm keeping track, not really. I just start the clock over. So, first goal here, 30 seconds or so. You're trying to get down as low as you can. When we're getting low, I'm not just doing it to be mean to you. It's good for your hips. Opens up your hips. Opens up that hip flexor. Especially difficult for you if you sit a lot for your job or just in life, like you're sitting on the couch a lot, which I'm sure most of us are. It's difficult, but it's good for you. If it feels challenging, embrace the challenge. Take time, but come all the way back down to the bottom. And we're gonna hold it here. So this is your big hold. You've done several isometric holds already. This is why this feels like fire. Your legs trashed at this point. Squeeze in on your inner thighs, lunge your right knee forward, push your right heel down so heavy. Slowly as you can with a bicep curl, you're gonna start to bend the left knee in. Now check it. When her knee bends in, we all tend to rise higher. So sit back into your lunge and then really slow, slide your left leg back. You're gonna make these adjustments every single time, not because you're bad, because it's hard and we're keeping it honest. Bend that left knee in real slow, tuck the abs, bend the right knee a little deeper. Maybe lean a little forward and then slide the left leg all the way back. You're almost there, 10 seconds. Gliding left knee in, pushing into right heel, armpits are on, shoulders are down the back. Good adjustment in the neck. Next one, bend your left knee in and hold it. I know. Hold left knee right under the hip. Squeeze in her thighs, bend your right knee. P.S. Jessica had a birthday this week, I'm just saying. So this is birthday buns right now. Hold it slowly. This is the hardest part yet, you guys. 1 inch down, you're gonna use your arms 2. 1 inch up, keep it tight. 1 inch down, 8 seconds, I know. 1 inch up, great control. 1 inch down, 1 inch is real small. 1 inch down, hold it down. Slide left leg all the way back. Lunge a little deeper, rise up. Go so slow. Once you hit the top, you're coming right back down. You're under 20 seconds, same format, same order. So we're gonna get onto our butt real quick here. We're gonna be facing towards your right. It's mermaid. If you'd like, you can add a twist, though I'm not calling it out. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. So bail on out. Take a seat on your left, like on the side of your left hip, not on your bottom. Right foot is underneath the strap. Lift your foot up against the strap and then start to lean it down to the side. Like I talked about before, even though you are focusing on the sides of your body, you need your front and back engaged. Imagine you're wrapping like duct tape around your whole spine. The duct tape is your muscles. So squeeze your shoulder blades, hug your front ribs in, just a few more seconds. You're the perfect length, Jessica. You guys can't see them, but my appliances from the kitchen are right in front of her. Next one, bring it all the way down, hold it, and breathe. Squeeze your blades a little bit, hug the ribs in, and then the softest little squeezes up. Make sure you're not releasing on the way down, so you're basically squeezing on top of a squeeze. For 5, the neck is long, the jaw is relaxed. 3, 2, slow, lift up against that burn. So I'm coming all the way up, all the way down. I'm fully aware of how difficult it is to go into full range after a burn like that. That's why we're gonna do it twice. Hold it all the way down on your next one. Unlock your right knee, relax your right thigh softly. Little tiny squeeze up, roll that right shoulder back just a little bit, beautiful. Little squeeze down, little squeeze up, 3, 2, last time. Full range, all the way up, all the way down. We'll be in a plank at the front in about 8 seconds. So how quickly can you take it up to the front, right? How quickly can you get your hands up and your toes tucked? 2 yellows is easier as we come up in 3, 2, and 1. So hands to your front, toes tucked. So transitions are awesome. You want to move as quickly as you can into the next exercise, but like a disco ninja ballerina, not like a dump truck. Exactly. So you're gonna start to bend your knees off towards the left elbow, squeezing right oblique. Remember the number, it's exactly 47 times more than you need to do the movement. Like we just talked about in Mermaid, think about this, it's difficult. You're squeezing your right oblique to bend the knees in. Try to squeeze your right oblique as the knees slide back out. It's a little bit difficult, right? Like we tend to release as we're sliding out. You only have about 10 more seconds here. We do have that transition coming up. You can absolutely set your knees down to come down, but this is part of the challenge. Try to remember which elbow you dropped first on the other side so you can keep it even, Steven. Slide your legs back, hold it. See if you can come to your elbows without putting your knees down. Maybe, maybe not. Awesome, Jess. Find your plank. Roll your hips to the right so your hip bones face to the left. And then the movement is minimal. The action is large. Squeeze your right oblique. And imagine you're trying to just shorten and pull your hip bone into your armpit. Again, real slow, real soft contractions. 5, we come up for teaser, and then we break it down with the arms. In 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So right foot over left. Again, I'll give you those options here. So right foot over left on the first red line, lined up heel to toe with your heels down and your toes down. That's standard operating alignment. If that is too weird in your hips, you feel it in your left lower back, then turn your toes more towards the left handlebar on a diagonal. You can still keep your heels lifted, just try to keep them evenly lifted through the movement. So you're engaging through the whole leg still. Slide it out on your next one. Hold it out. Squeeze your right oblique. Do the work for a second. Soft elbows, strong armpits, long neck. A little 1/2 inch up and a 1/2 inch down. Lift the head just a little bit. Lifting your head, you guys, is going to do a couple things. It's going to protect you from neck stuff. It's also going to make it easier to breathe. I know, Jessica. 7 seconds like this. Battling it out for 5. We're going to go full range in 3, 2, just 10 seconds, all the way up, all the way out. You've got this. We're going to uncross our legs. Your hands stay where they are, so toes together on the 3 in that inclined plank. 3, 2, 1. Toes together, heels lifted, hips drop forward. You're in that flying plank one last time. Hold it and breathe. Slowly, you guessed it, push-ups. Remember what I said last time? You can hold it at the top of your push-up for a good however long you need before you're ready for the next one. It matters 0 to me It should not matter to you. Push-ups are much harder than planks. We're creating movement in a plank. You still have to fight for the plank position. This is your last 10 seconds. Now, we're gonna travel on up to the back. You're gonna want 3 to 4 yellows. 2 is lighter. Turning your handlebars inwards will have an overhand grip tricep pull. In 3, 2, and 1. So 2, 3, or 4 yellows. I would say 3 is the sweet spot for most of us. 2 will be lighter, 4 is heavier. Hands are your shoulder distance width apart, no wider. Palms are facing down. Spine is nice and long. So you see, this spine looks familiar to me because she's holding the shape of a plank in her spine in her spine right now. So it's a neutral spine. You're bending your elbows. That is changing the tension on your spine and your triceps and your back muscles. So while your spine isn't moving, just like wheelbarrow, you have to maintain it. Bending all the way in. I want you to pull in like Jessica is. She's bringing her chin all the way forward. Do the work to pull your shoulders back at the same time. Now, this is hard to see Jessica because she's turned sideways from you. But when you bend in, try not to let your elbows flare out even the slightest. Your elbows stay exactly shoulder distance. Imagine that I took like a band and put them around your upper arms so they couldn't move wider. Or I put a block in between your elbows and you can't drop it. This next one, take your time. Pull all the way in. Check your core. Check your shoulder blades. Check your neck. Squeeze your elbows tighter together. And then as slowly as you can, start to slide it out. I'll tell her when to stop because she can't see, but you're gonna stop when your shoulder's right over your elbows, right there. And then pull. Oh, yes, Jessica, perfect. And then do it again. Slide it out, shoulders over elbows. And then all the way back in, really good. Slide it back out, hold it, set your core, and then pull big, full range of motion. 8 seconds. We're gonna grab the black cables. You're gonna set up newspaper, but it's gonna be a little bit of a variation. 3 to 4 yellows in 2 and 1. So grab your black cables, 3 to 4 yellows, 2 is a mod. Knees scoot back towards the number 6. Come up onto your knees to start. Cross your cables so you have an X newspaper. So we're gonna do a little combo, and I gotta tell you guys, core is a lot of this. If you need to, you can sit on your heels. So pull your elbows back into your sides. What we're gonna do here is, so start by pulling your hands about elbow distance apart like Jessica does. First things first, you're gonna open your newspaper. You gotta keep the elbows hugging to your sides. Once you pulled your newspaper open, you gotta pull your front ribs in, and then keeping your arms on that diagonal, you're gonna reach up and out to the side. So now straightening your arms, lifting your elbows away from you. Core tight, core tight, core tight, core tight, yes. And then bring your elbows all the way back in. You have to keep your hands pulling out to the sides. Yeah, look at her face. She feels it. Core tight. Then you bring it back and close that newspaper. Don't let your hands come any closer than elbow distance. And then we do it again. Arms rotate out. This is a lot of core here. When you start to lift your arms up and out to the sides, like you're gonna fist bump 2 people, abs are so tight. Pull them in. Oh, it feels so good. They're just gonna... And then keep your hands lifted as you bring the elbows back in. Hands drop. We close the newspaper. Do it again. Keep going. It feels so good. Awesome. Higher. Go for it. Yes, abs so tight. And then bring it all the way in. Hold your elbows. Keep the hands pulling back. Hands are pulling back. Abs so tight. And then we want, you guys got to be real soft here. Don't bounce. Little squeezes. Real slow, squeeze them back. Close your eyes if you need to. Sit on your heels if you need to. 8, 7, 6, abs so tight. Buns so tight. Don't forget about the buns. 3, sexy back. 2, and 1. So, uncross your cables or keep them crossed. It'll make it heavier. Drop your butt back, but don't sit down. Lean forward. It's a tricep kickback. Your spine, your legs are in the exact same position that they were when you were pulling on those bars at the back. So back to the triceps, back to the back. We're working shoulders on the last exercise. You're working your shoulders now, but more the back side of your shoulders. It's more of a stretch rather through the front of your shoulders. See if you can go a little slower, and then check that range of motion. So make the movement a little bit smaller. Lift the front ribs towards your back, good adjustment. Lengthen out your neck. Extend your arms straight back and hold it. Just hold it. Squeeze your shoulder blades, squeeze your triceps, squeeze your back muscles, squeeze your butt muscles, squeeze your front muscles. Those are your abs, your front ones. Hold it, hold it. Hold it, hold it. I know, a little straighter, a little higher with your arms. 3, 2, go back to full range. Your last time in full range, no holds, no challenges. You've got 20 seconds. After that, you have exactly 60 seconds left in class. I say everybody needs a forearm plank a day, so that's what we'll be finishing. 1 yellow. 2 will make it easier. I'm gonna cue it at the front here, so facing the same direction. If you felt like you needed more, you could take it up to the back. In 3, change it to 1 yellow. If you need more support, it's 2 yellows. In 2 and 1. So change your springs, scoot back so your elbows are still on the carriage. If you're crazy, go on up to the back and you can do it there. Bring your elbows down, shoulder distance width apart. She transitioned in her plank, did you see that? Legs are straight and strong. Squeeze your legs. So the first 15 or 20 seconds, I want you to focus on your legs. Like, fire up your freaking legs. Squeeze your butt cheeks together as if you're trying to fuse your butt and your legs. Like, get them to fire. It's everything. Keep the hips light. Draw the navel up and then under your rib cage a little bit. Hug your lats down. Lengthen out your neck, your jaw. Pull your heart forward a little bit through your shoulders. So yeah, lengthening thoracic spine. Beautiful. You are exactly halfway, you guys. If and only if you need more, see if you can start to alternate lifting one leg slowly at a time. So right leg, left leg. If that's not for you, and I promise it wouldn't be for me at this point, you're just holding. If you wanted even more, you could tap your feet out to the side when you lift. This is your last 7, 6, 5, good fight, Jess, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a child's pose. You earned it. Any other stretches you like, you can load on a couple springs and face the front for hamstring stretch or pigeon stretch. Maybe it would feel juicy to put your legs in the straps and do some leg circles and frog kicks. That would be on 1 red and 2 yellows. Good job. Have a good day, everybody.